Okay, good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, Bala.
Good evening.
Bala.
Good evening, Bala.
Okay,
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Bala.
please accept my sincere apology. I'm not able to conduct my classes last week, so I'm really sorry for it. So I just wasted your schedule. Okay, so
It's okay, Bala. So no issue.
okay, please accept my apology for it. So we'll start the classes. We know very well that we are into the integration management knowledge area, and almost we have at least one process supporting all the process group. So how many process group we have? You're seeing the screen in front of you, right?
Yes,
Okay.
49.
So total
Five.
we have 49 process, right? How many knowledge area we have?
12,
10
10.
knowledge.
Yep.
Okay. How many process group we have?
5.
5 process group from initiating to closing. And we know very well, except monitoring and controlling, remaining process group will be having only one functions to do. Monitoring and controlling will have 2 functions. It has to monitor the health condition of the project and it has to produce the report. And if the report says that the project is not in a healthy condition, the project health is deteriorating for showing the deteriorating performance, then you need to take a control measures to control the project health, and you have to bring the project back to the track. So we have 2 functions. So we have 5 process group, we have 10 knowledge areas, and we have 49 processes. So once we are we should have a project management master skill in just grouping the process. We need to logically subdivide the processes, and we know if we are in a particular process group, we need to know what all the process will be supporting each and every process group, and what all the, if you're going to perform a domain area, a specific domain area like integration, scope, cost, time, you need to know very well that you need to know what process will support our domain areas to be very specific. So where our we are exhibiting our project management skills. So once we are performing each and every domain area, so we need to know what process will support each and every domain area. And you know very well, process will have an interrelated activities. You are able to interrelate your activities and you are able to perform the process and you are able to get your predefined outputs by the help of tools and techniques. Tools are your tangible things that will help you to perform your techniques. So we know very well that brainstorming is a technique, and the tool which is supporting the brainstorming session will be your whiteboard, marker, or you'll be giving the pen and paper or pencil and paper. So that will be the tool that supports your technique called the brainstorming. So tools are tangible, techniques are intangibles. So each and every process will be having its own set of tools and techniques. So we need to just sit and we need to select what kind of tools and techniques we need to use for each and every process, and what process we need to select for this project depending upon the complex nature of the project. But always it is advisable for us to start with the project charter. Okay, what will be the next process you're going to do as per the project management? What will be the next process we have to do after you're done with your charter? What is the next appropriate process we need to perform? We need to develop our management plans, or we have to perform one more process?
Yeah, you said that they identify stakeholders as part of
Okay,
initiating
we
process.
have to just make sure that we need to identify the stakeholders. Why we need to identify the stakeholders? Who are your stakeholders? What do you mean by the stakeholders?
Stakeholders who all are involving directly or indirectly to the project, maybe past
Okay,
team stakeholders.
Can I consider your competitor as your stakeholders?
Yes.
Okay, can I consider your regulatory authorities who's going to give some regulatory informations? Who's going to pass your things? Can we call your Baldias, municipalities, Karama, will be your stakeholders? Ministry of Commerce,
Yeah.
Industries.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
your bankers,
Yes.
your lenders.
Yeah.
Okay, your public at large. Public at large, who's going to take benefit of the projects?
I
Yes.
don't.
Yes.
think-
Yeah, your team members.
Yeah, team members in the project are
Okay.
stakeholders.
What about your family? What about your family who supports you in day-to-day work? Can we consider
No.
your family also will be one of the stakeholders? Ultimately,
How, Bala?
they're getting the benefit from the projects, right? You're working, you're getting the salary, and that is benefiting your family, right? So family also will be one of your stakeholders. They are a positive stakeholders, right? No family will just have the intention that our person should not have a job. They are very happy if the person is having a job, either wife or husband, right or wrong? So you need to make sure that you need to just know your stakeholders, because why I need to identify my stakeholder? Because once you are creating the project charter, my voice is clear, right?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. If once I'm creating my charter, I am not able to bring the complete stakeholder into the project charter. I'm able to bring only the key stakeholder list. Before I'm commencing to develop all the management plans, the intention is that I need to develop the stakeholder register. So the stakeholder register is a very important document, and that is going to be one of the subset of your project document, where you're going to bring the complete information of your stakeholders, your contractors, your subcontractors, your team members, your steering committees, the sponsor, the project manager, anyone is going to help directly or indirectly to the project. So everyone will be included in the stakeholder list. And the reason for you to bring the stakeholder list, stakeholder register, without stakeholder register, it is very difficult for you to collect the specification from the customers. Because you know very well, all the information gone into the project charter will be a summary level of informations. Once the project is keep on evolving, you need to make sure that the project should add more detail. So if you don't have more detail, you're not able to develop your management plans, especially once you're working for the predictive projects, right? Once you're working for the predictive project, you need to know your project in detail, and early planning is very important in the predictive projects. So you need to know, you need to predict your outputs. So for you to predict your outputs, you need to bring all your management plans in a detail level, right? So if you want to get your information in detail, you are going to transform the summary information into detail level information. You need to send your representative to collect the complete specification and requirements from the stakeholders. Until the stakeholder list is complete, you're not able to send your representative or proxies to collect the specifications or the requirements. And one of the important things is that you're not able to develop your stakeholder engagement plans, and you're not able to develop your communication management plans without the stakeholder list. So stakeholder, you need to have the complete stakeholder list who are very specific to that particular phase. You need to make sure that you need to have the complete stakeholder information into the stakeholder register, and that will be the document that will be, you are not able to keep that one as a static until you're going to finalize with your last activity for a particular phase or a last phase of your project or the last iteration of your project. Make sure that you need to iterate or you need to just update your stakeholder register, because stakeholder register is something, a document where you know very well that the many people will come inside and many people will be moving outside. So it's going to be, you can't keep that stakeholder register as a static document. You need to keep on update. If you're going to bring a new stakeholder or you're not satisfied with the contractors, you want to replace a contractor, make sure that you need to know, you need to bring the new contractor inside and you need to update the stakeholder register. So until you have the complete stakeholder list who are very specific to that particular time of the project, make sure that you are not able to develop your communication management plan and the stakeholder engagement plan, and you are not able to collect the complete requirements from the stakeholders. So actually the Project Management Institute, through its project management body of knowledge, it is advising after you develop your charter, and you're going to bring the project manager into the project charter, and the sponsor or initiator is going to sign the charter and is going to give the authority to the project manager. The next thing the management has to manage should advise project manager and the team to develop the stakeholder register. Right? So you need to make sure that you can't plan the same communications or you can't plan the same engagement activity to all the stakeholders, because many stakeholders will have the different kind of influence. Some stakeholder will be less influential stakeholders. Some stakeholder will be highly influential stakeholders. Some people will be having high power. Some people will be having very low power. Some people will be giving the impact. They'll be giving the strong impact to the project. They'll be giving, some stakeholder will be giving the less impact to the project. So make sure that which stakeholder is having the key interest in your project, which stakeholder is not having an interest, which stakeholder is having a power and which stakeholder is not having a power. So what is the stake they have in the projects? What kind of stake they have in the project? So you are able to identify this without stakeholder register. It is very difficult for you to find all this. So once you are doing all this, you will be planning your communication strategies in the communication management plan, and you'll be planning the stakeholder engagement strategies in the stakeholder engagement plans. So stakeholder register should be always up to date. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes,
Bala.
Bala.
Okay.
Yes.
So once you are done with the stakeholder register, the next thing you need to make sure that you need to develop all your management plans. So you need to make sure that you need to develop all your management plans. So how are you going to develop your management plans? How are you going to develop your management plans? How are you going to develop your management plans? So how many management plans you need to integrate? Each and every department has to contribute. The technical department, they have to contribute the scope. The costing department, they have to contribute the cost management plan. The planning department, they have to just contribute the schedule management plan. The quality department, they have to come with the quality management plan. The human resource and procurement or purchase, they need to just coordinate with them. And they need to know about what kind of human resource they need for the project and what kind of resource they need for the project, physical resource for the project. So they will be coming with a plan called a resource management plan. The IT person who's going to communicate the information, who's going to serve as a messenger to the project, and they're going to communicate the communication internally and externally. So these people, they need to ready with the communication management plan. And the risk department, they need to come with the risk management plan. The procurement department, they need to come with the procurement management plan. And the business development within the organization, they need to bring the stakeholder engagement plans. So how many management plans are contributed? Because the process, the domain area which we are seeing right now is integrations. We have to integrate, we have to unify, we have to coordinate. Now the project manager will be giving the deadline to each and every department, and he is waiting for the contributions. So each and every department, they need to contribute. The scope has to contribute, the quality has to contribute. So everything has to be contributed. So a typical project, a seasoned project, how many management plan you have? In a typical project or a normal project, how many management plan you should have?
One, including all together, right?
Yeah, that
The
is
scope,
integrated. That is integrated. You are able to
Then
bring-
9. In that case, 9, right?
Okay, 9. Okay, 9. Someone is saying 10. Can you? Who has said a 10? Who has said a 10 in numbers?
Me only 10.
Vinod, you said, right? Can
Yes,
you
yes.
just list it out? What are all your management plans?
No, this 10 knowledge area. No, this all we have management.
The
plan.
integration is not a knowledge area. Integration is inserted as a knowledge area. Integration is a place where you need to just unify everything. You need to just collect various contribution, and the place where you going to integrate will be integration. So they made this one as an artificial knowledge area. The scope management is so specific about the technical informations, right? So scope is very specific about the technical. The cost department is very specific about the costing. The planning department is very specific about the time scales. Quality is going to specifically, they were very specific to the standard they need to incorporate into the work, right? So each and every domain is a knowledge area, but artificially they made this one as a knowledge area, integration. Integration is place where you need to unify everything. So you need to collect various kind of contributions and you need to coordinate, and you need to do a proper integrations. So you are an integrator, you need to bring everything as a cohesive whole. Without integration, you are not able to do any kind of work. Can we say only one tree as a forest? Can we say that there is only one tree and we can call that one as a forest?
No.
So the forest should have a lot of integrated things, right? Then only we can call as a forest. It should have a long tree, it should have a short tree, it should have a bushes. So we can call that one. So we can't call only one building as Doha. Or we can't call only one building as Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi means, you know very well the infrastructure, right? The buildings, the cinema theaters, the malls, shopping malls, the schools, the residential apartments, the commercial apartments, right? So everything will be integrated, and we're going to call that one as an Abu Dhabi city. So without integration, it's very difficult for us to move forward. So we are integrating the contribution. So integration is not a knowledge area. Integration artificially they made as a knowledge area. But other thing is very too specific. Like a scope means you will be speaking only about the scope. The time management means you need to speak only about the time management. You will not speak anything about other things. So how many management plans should have Vinod right now? You should 10, right?
It should be 9.
9.
It's
right?
not considering integration.
Okay, not considering integration. There is no plan called integration management plan, right? There is no plan called integration management plan. There is a plan called PMP, project management plan.
Project management.
So project
Yes, yes.
management plan is what? Integrated with the various management plans. So Ms. Kala said that it's 9 management plans are integrated here, right? You're able to see the develop project management plan process.
Yes.
Okay. So we have, you don't have any kind of disturbance like last week. Last week, people are saying that there's something black is something coming as a blocking. So you are not seeing anything right now, right? Guys?
No, no, Bala.
Okay, it's very clear, right?
No, it's okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now we have 10 management plans. Sorry, we have 9 management plans, right? So there is no plan called integration management plan, and the plan called project management plan is there because in the integration, the project manager and the project management team, they are just getting the contribution from various departments and they are trying to integrate all the management plans and they are able to produce a single master document. We call that one as a project management plan. It's a master document, it's a mother document, and it's a guideline document, and it's keep on evolving document, and it shows the complete information about the projects to the executions. So the role of execution who's going to receive this management plan, the project management plan, they have to follow all the things. They have to follow the project management plan, or they'll be following the updated project management plan. The role is only 2 roles. They need to follow the project management plan and they have to execute the things, or they have to follow the updated project management plan and they have to execute the things. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone is ready? Everything is ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So please note down a typical project. If anyone is going to wake up you in the in your deep sleep, you have to say that how many management plans are integrated in project management plan. We have 10 management plans, not 9, Ms. Kala. It's 10 management plan. So I will list out what all the 10 management plans are integrated here. The scope management is giving a contribution. The scope management is contributing 2 management plans. From the scope, the project manager and the project management team is receiving 2 management plans. The first one is a scope management plan, scope. The second management plan from the same scope management is called as a requirement management plan, requirement management plan. Anyone is working in IT? Ms. Kala?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. So the same requirement management plan in the IT or the adaptive projects, they're going to call this one as a business analysis plan. Business analysis plan. So don't get confused because of 50%, the portion of the syllabus will be focusing on the predictive, and 50% of the syllabus is going to focus about the adaptive. So adaptive projects, they're going to call this one as a business analysis plan. So there is 2 contributions for the scope management. One is your scope management plan. The other one is going to be your requirement management plan. The requirement management plan is called as a business analysis plan. And the IT people, so who will be the person who will be collecting the requirement from the for the predictive projects? Who will be the person? What is the name of the person who is going to collect the
Business analyst.
Yeah?
Business analyst.
Business analyst. Business analyst will be used to collect the complete requirements. Why the business analyst is used to collect the complete requirements? Why the business analyst is sent to the client or owner to collect the complete things? What information you can see in the project charter? It's a detailed level of information or summary level of information?
Summary level.
Okay, can we keep the same summary level during the mid stage of your project or the late stage of the project? We need to know the complete details about what we need to develop, right? So we need to push our business analyst. We need to push our business analyst to the client or the owner or the product manager or product owner to just know the complete specification or complete feature and what should be the functions from each and every features. We have to send the business analyst. So that will be done in the adaptive projects. But who will be the person who will be doing all kind of requirement gathering sessions with the client for the predictive projects? The heavyweight projects like civil engineering, electrical engineering, the oil and gas pipelines, mechanical. So who will be the person who will be collecting the complete requirements? Because you know very well, you need to collect the complete specifications. Without collecting the complete specification, you are not able to move forward, right or not, guys? Because the client will say that it should be in a high-rise building. So that's a summary level. High-rise building, summary budget, high-level definitions, high-level requirements. So you need to collect the detailed level requirements. You need to understand the specifications. So someone has to be nominated from the predictive project side. They have to send this particular person to the client or the owner to know the complete specifications, to collect the complete requirements. It can be the business requirements. It can be the stakeholder requirements. It can be the procurement requirements, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, solution requirements, quality requirements. If the quality requirements of the client is going to give, the quality requirements of the client is going to say that my product has to work 365 days without defect. Your product, you need to bring a product that should not have any defect for 365 days. So you need to collect this kind of requirements. So you need to push someone from your side to collect the requirements. So requirement management plan will be giving you the greater information, how you need to collect the requirements, what kind of tools you're going to use to collect the requirements, and will be taking the roles and responsibility and what technique you need to perform to gather the requirements. So if I'm not wrong, many predictive projects, they're going to use their estimation engineers or tendering engineers, right or wrong? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. In the adaptive projects, the person who's going to collect the requirements, complete requirements for a product will be the business analyst. So who will be the person who will be taking the roles and responsibility in the predictive projects?
Correct. The estimation of the
Tendering
costing.
team.
Who?
Tendering
Yeah,
team.
Tendering team, right? So tendering team will be pushing the representative to the client or the owner to collect the complete specifications. Okay. Now, in the adaptive project, Ms. Kala, can you just give me the information? Once the requirements are completely gathered, they will not call as the requirements there. They will be calling this one as the user stories, right?
Yes.
User stories, or colloquially, we're going to call this one as the features.
Features.
So who is going to collect the features?
Product owner.
No, product owner will narrate the features. Who will be collecting from the product owner?
Scrum master. Scrum master.
No, Scrum Master will not do this one. You will be sending the business analyst, right?
Here in that adaptive method, normally here we are only one person used to play all the roles. We have less people. That's why I said the Scrum, he is playing business analyst role as well as the Scrum master role also.
Okay, think in the larger perspective.
Okay. In that case, business analyst.
So you'll be sending the business analyst to collect the complete user stories and features. Okay. Now, once the business analyst is going to completely gather the features and user stories from the client or the product owner, where it is defined, where you're going to bring that complete features. You're breaking the product and you are able to bring that features into a document. So what is the name of the document? What is the name of the
document? BRD.
Okay, business requirement document.
Yeah.
Business requirement. It's not product backlog.
That is when we are uploading these things into the tool, then we will call this one as a backlog items.
Okay, so you are
the document.
So you're able to dump all the features into a document called a product backlog in adaptive projects, right?
Yeah.
So what will be the document will be named in the predictive projects. You're able to predict your things. You're able to know about your outputs.
FRD, functional requirement document. FRD.
What is that?
Functional requirement document.
Functional requirement documents, right? Please note that it's not a functional. They're going to call this one as a requirement documentations. So once you are gathering the complete requirements, and once you're going to bring that requirements into a document, as per the industry term, they're going to call this one as a different industry, like Ms. Kala said, functional requirement documentation. But according to the Project Management Institute, through its body of knowledge, they're going to call this document as a requirement documentations. So what all the requirements you're going to collect for your project is documented in a document called requirement documentations. Everyone is having a notepad, right? Everyone is having a notepad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So once you are once you are developing the requirement management plan, that will be serving as a roadmap to collect the requirements. There is a process called collect requirement or gather requirements. Complete requirements should be collected. Without collecting the requirements, without making the requirement documentation as a baseline document, you are not able to develop a document called a scope statement. So if you want to develop the scope statement, there should be a process called collect the requirement process. That will be the complete requirements will be collected. It will take like a lot of days, it will take a lot of weeks, it will be taking a lot of months if the project is so complex in nature. And depending upon the availability of the stakeholder, who will be the stakeholder, what kind of specification, and who is having the stake for this particular phase of the project, you're going to send your tendering department, or will be sending a business analyst to gather the complete information. So once the complete informations are collected and gathered, and you're going to make a baseline document. So that particular document is called as a product backlog in adaptive environment, and we're going to call this one as a requirement documentation in the predictive projects. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Clear.
Okay.
Yes.
And many organizations will be using the brainstorming sessions for gathering the requirements, or they'll be using the interview or semi-structured interview, or they'll be using the focus group session using a moderator to collect the requirements from the stakeholders, or they'll be using other technique also to collect the stakeholders. One important technique which will be used in almost all the industry for collecting the requirements before ordering the materials or raw materials to the larger scale. So they'll be using something called, the technique will be called as a prototyping. You'll be using the prototype for you to gather the requirements early stage, right? Prototype will be serving as a working model, right or not, sir? Right
Yes.
or not? Prototype will be used for you to gather the complete requirements for your product. Or in IT projects, they'll be using a technical proof of concepts, right or not, sir? Before
Yes,
they are coming into the final design, they'll be using a technical proof of concepts. So they're going to call this one as a POD, proof of concepts, will be used for you to gather the complete requirements, and you are coming to a final design. Right or wrong? Right? Okay. So now once you are gathering the complete requirements, and the requirements are dumped into a document called requirement documentations. It's baseline right now. So now how are you going to track each and every requirements during the life cycle of your projects? How we are able to gather, how we are able to track each and every requirements? You brought thousands and thousands of requirements and specification into the requirement documentations. Now, how we are able to track the life cycle of each and every requirements? Hello?
Yeah, yes.
We'll fix a baseline. We'll fix a baseline. Like I'm talking about the predictive approach. We'll fix a baseline.
Actually, predictive only. You have to baseline that requirement documentation and predictive.
Yeah.
But product log,
then-
backlog, you can't do any kind of baseline there, because you know very well it will be adding more features depending upon the factors which is making you to make a changes, right? That's a change. That particular project is going to welcome the changes. So you can baseline the product backlog, right? Nitin?
Okay.
In the predictive project, I'm saying that you need to baseline the requirement documentation, and you need to develop the scope statement. So the requirement documentation will be collect the requirement process. Using the requirement management plan will be a bridging process between the project charter and the defining scope statement process. Is it clear or not? The project charter should be the high level information should be transformed into detail level of information. So the project charter should be transmit itself as a project scope statement. So there should be a bridging process between the project charter process and the defined scope statement process. The process name is called collect requirements or gathering requirements. So you need to gather the complete requirements, and you need to document that requirements into a document called requirement documentations. Now, my question to you, how you are able to track requirements? If you brought the thousands and thousands of requirements, how we are able to track these requirements? Sometimes what happens?
Matrix.
Who said this? Who said this?
Through scope matrix, we can track.
Okay, please note down the correct name is that
Venkatesh.
according to the Project Management Institute, they're going to call this one as a RTM. There is a document called RTM, Requirement Traceability Matrix. So each and every requirements through its life cycle of the project, you are able to track the requirements until it is going to turn into a deliverables. So you'll be using a document to track each and every requirements. So this document is called as a requirement traceability matrix. So what you can see in the requirement traceability matrix, you can see the complete information about the requirements. So the life cycle of the requirements, you are able to just track and trace in a document called requirement traceability matrix, right? You are able to track and you are able to trace the requirements. So once you are able to track and trace the requirements life cycle until it is converted as a deliverable. So this kind of traceability is called as a forward traceability. So you're going to capture the requirements today. The project will go for next 5 years, and this requirement should be converted at the 4th year end. So once you're turning up to the deliverables, you are able to just compare the specification, whether the same specification is given by the customer, whether the customer can accept the deliverables. We are able to just achieve the business objective of the project. So you are able to do the tracking and tracing using a document called requirement traceability matrix. Suddenly, the requirement is given in the first day of the project, and in the 3rd month, the stakeholder who has given his requirement is going to make a changes. I think that I given a wrong requirement. I given my wrong specification. Can you change that specification? Can you modify that specification? Can you omit that specification? So this kind of information will be gathered from the stakeholder, and you are able to remove, or you're able to change, or able to modify. If you're going to remove that requirements, there is no need for you to work. Right or wrong? If you're going to remove the complete requirements from the stakeholder is asking or requesting you, he has given the wrong requirements. Can you remove that one? So you're removing that requirements from the requirement documentations. So there is no need for your team to work for that requirements. Right or wrong, sir? Right or wrong?
Yes.
So some document should track this. Some document should trace this. Who has given the changes? Who was asking you to do the modification? What is the modification date? What a priority we're going to give for each and every requirements? Who's the owner of these requirements? So make sure that there should be a tracking, there should be a tracing, and you're going to trace this one, you're going to track this one from the requirement stage until the deliverable stage. Once you're going to hand over the deliverables, the customer has to take the deliverables. If the customer on the 3rd month, they ask you to remove the requirements and you are not working for the requirements, the customer can't question you. Where is my requirements? Sir, very clearly, our team is giving the information that you ask us to remove the requirements. So we have the complete evidence. You made a signatory. So how you are expecting us to deliver that one? You doesn't want that one in the 3rd month itself. You are given clearly. And this is a tracking and tracing document. So this shows that you ask us to remove this, or you are asking us to modify it, or you're asking us to change, because you never understand the project at the early stage. So you said that you've given a wrong requirements. Can you just pull that requirements from the requirement traceability and you can modify the requirements? You're given this one, sir. So we have the clear tracking and tracing informations. So RTM will be used for you to give the complete tracking and tracing. So you are able to track and trace from the requirement stage until the deliverable stage. Or if you want to just track and trace from the deliverable back to the requirements, so the traceability is called as a backward traceability. Is it clear or not, guys? Each and every requirements which you're going to collect from your stakeholders should be from your customers or the owner should be more clear. It should be more concise, right? It should be acceptable. It should be trackable. You need to track that, and it should be traceable. You have to track it properly. You have to trace it properly. It should be accepted. It should be complete. It should be concise. It should be so clear. It should have its ID. It should have the owner name, right? And any modifications or any changes is gone in between the project. You need to make sure that who has made the changes, who asked us to modify the changes, whether they came with a formal approval to do the changes. Everything should be clearly recorded through the requirement traceability matrix. Whenever you're going to make any changes in the requirement documentation, you need to make a substantial changes in the requirement traceability matrix also. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yeah, clear.
Tomorrow, if your stakeholder is arguing you, where is my requirement, sir? You ask us to pull down the requirements. Why you are insisting to insisting us to give the deliverables? So what is the need for us to work? You ask us to pull, you ask us to remove that one. Right now, you can't claim that where is my deliverables? So the R team has given the clear informations. You made the signatory, sir, and you accepted that. So everything is very clear. We given the ID and this is the date you ask us to modify. This is the date we ask us to change. This is the date you came and you ask us to remove because you said that you never had the clear understanding. So there should be a traceability document. So the traceability document, both for the adaptive as well as the predictive, you'll be using a document called requirement traceability matrix. So in the predictive project, you know very well, it's uncommon, but in the adaptive project, the RTM is so common in nature. So you can see even the acceptance criteria in the requirement traceability matrix. You need to get your acceptance criteria signed from the stakeholder. If the stakeholder is not accepting, try to open the requirement traceability matrix. Why he is not accepting? What is the reason he is not accepting? So make sure that our team will be giving the clear justification to the stakeholder, and the stakeholder will understand. Because 4 years back he asked you to remove. 4 years back he asked you to modify. 4 years back he asked you to go for a changes. So that information will be clearly tracked and traced and kept in the requirement traceability matrix. So either it can be a forward traceability or it can be a backward traceability, or you want to do the tracking and tracing both the direction. Please note that this is called as a bi-directional traceability matrix. Bi-directional. So scope management plan will give you the advice how to define the scope, how to break the defined scope into various pieces, and how to validate your scope and how to control your scope. Requirement management plan will be giving you the clear advice what requirements will be collected and who will be taking the responsibility to collect the requirements and where you need to bring that requirements and how you're going to track and trace the requirements throughout the life cycle of the projects. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Everyone,
Yes.
everyone, please. So the scope management is giving two contributions. One is your scope management plan. The other one is your requirement management plan. So once you are coming to the schedule management, so the planning engineers, the junior engineers, planning managers, schedulers, controllers. So these people will be developing a management plan called a schedule management plan. They will be developing a plan called schedule management plan. Schedule management plan. So this is a third plan you're going to develop. You're going to receive from the schedule management, and you are able to integrate with the scope management and the requirement management plan. The estimation department, the commercial department, they will be coming with a plan called cost management plan. Each and every domain area should have its own management plans, because each and every management plan will be a mother document for its own process. If you have 7 processes under the risk management, the risk management plan will be a mother document for all its subsequent processes. It has to give the proper guideline. It has to provide the proper guidance. It has to give the clear information who will be the process owner, who will be the supporting person to support the process owner, and what kind of template they have to use. What will be the level of detail they need to report through the template, who will be the subject matter experts will be used, and what is the periodic information that the process has to be repeated, iterated. So this information will be going into the risk management plan. If you don't have the mother document for each and every knowledge area, so you are not able to follow a proper guideline. Even if you're going to perform adaptive projects, which is a change, which is going to receive the changes very often, it also should have its own management plans. But what is the difference between the adaptive and predictive? All the management plans will be detailedly defined. But in the case of adaptive project, the management plans are in the summary level. So there is one exam question which we already discussed. It seems that one of the quality control or quality assurance in the adaptive project is advising the new project manager not to develop the quality management plan, not to waste your time. And once you are not wasting your time, you are not wasting the money also. So he's advising not to come with the quality management plan. We are doing the same kind of project. There's no necessity for you to develop the quality management plan. So this is a comment is given by the team member to the project manager. So how the project manager has to reflect to this? You are a new project manager, you are going into the adaptive environment, and one of the quality person is giving you the advice not to develop the quality management plan. So can you send that particular product without doing any kind of inspection and testings directly to the customers? So what is your advice? The option number 1 is that you're going to accept the comment from the team member. So you will not develop the quality management plan. That is the first option. The second option is that you need to make the team member to understand how important the quality management plan, like other management plans. The third one is that you will advise the customer to have the external testers to test the product. Fourth one, you'll be getting the confirmation from the management that your subordinate has advised you not to develop the quality management plan. So you're going to get the confirmation from the management. That's the fourth options. Option number one, you'll accept your team member. The option number two, you make the team member to realize how important the quality management plan, like other management plans. Option number three, you'll advise, since the project is not having the quality management plan, you're advising the customer to have the external inspectors to just test the defects. The fourth one is that you'll get the confirmation that you will not go with the quality management plan. That's advice given by the team member. So you will be confirming this one with the management. So what will be your options?
Second.
We have to
You need to
advise
make
our
sure
team
that
members to
you need
understand
to-
the
yes, you need to give the strong advice. Even it's an adaptive project, you need to make sure that importance of the quality management plan. So what importance is given to the other management plans, you have to give the same importance to the quality management plan also. So that is the advice you're going to give, right? So the commercial department, they will be coming with the cost management plan, and the quality management will be coming with the quality management plan, right? Then we have the resource management. Then we have the communication. Then we'll be having the risk management. Then we'll be having the procurement. Then we'll be having the stakeholder engagement plan, stakeholder management or stakeholder engagement plan. Stakeholder management plan, or we can call this one as a SEP or SMP. SEP is nothing but stakeholder engagement plan, or SMP is nothing but stakeholder management plan. So altogether, how many management plans you have, guys, right now? Except scope management, remaining other knowledge area from the time management to the stakeholder is giving one management plan. The contribution is one management plan from each side right now. You know very well, if you want to perform the risk domain, you need to select the process for the risk domain. You need to complete the risk domain successfully. So you're going to select your process. For each and every process, what will be the activity I need to perform? What will be the tools and techniques? Who will be the process owner and who will be the supporting staff? You need to determine in the management plans. So the risk management plan will be serving as a mother document to give the proper guideline for its own process. You can't expect the cost management plan will be providing the guideline for the risk management process, right or wrong, guys?
Yeah.
Right? Guys, you are having the attention here.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes, Balan.
Yeah,
10
Balan.
only the answer, right?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, 10 only the answer, right?
Yeah,
Total.
total 10 management plans.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The scope will be giving 2 management plans. The remaining other knowledge area will be giving its own only one management plan. So total 10 management
Yeah.
plans are integrated here, right? It's
Yeah.
integrations. So the project manager will be waiting. You will be giving the deadline. Before this deadline, try to send your contributions. Okay, now my question to you: can you make any changes during the development stage? Once the people are defining the information in detail in each and every management plan, can they do the changes on their own? Or they need to send to the change committee for them to get the approval, then only they can do the changes.
Yeah, they have
They
to
have
send.
an approval.
We have to get the upload.
Okay. Now, see, actually the technical department, they are very specific in developing the scope management plan and the requirement management plan, right? So they never
Yes.
send the contribution, they never gone to the deadline, they want to do some changes, they never understand the scope first. Since the work is, the project is evolving, they are able to understand in detail. So day by day, they are able to have the better understanding, right? Please note down, this terminology is called as a progressive elaboration. What is that?
Progressive analysis.
Progressive elaboration. Progressive elaboration. The progressive elaboration is that you will be able to understand your business, you are able to understand your project step by step. Right? It's not a very big bang. You are able to just know about your project marginally each and every day. So this will be called as a progressive elaborations. So before, they never have the understanding since the project has started. So they define something wrong. They want to strike out. They want to edit it. They want to do some course correction. So they never given their contribution still to the project manager. They are still in defining stage. They are bringing the details into the management plans. The assignment which is given to the project manager to each and every department, they are defining the information in detail. They never submitted. So before submission, before sending it to the project manager, they want to do some changes. Because each and every department they have their own expertise. They are subject matter expert, they are the experienced people, they know what to bring, what not to bring. So initially they have a wrong information. So they have a wrong thought. Say they brought some information that should be eliminated right now. They have the clear understanding. Progressive elaboration made them to understand the project in detail. So they want to modify some changes. They want to omit something. They want to edit something. They want to bring a new information. They want to throw some information from the management plans. So they can do this kind of changes on their own, or they need to push the change request or change order. After getting the formal approval only, they can make the changes. What I'm asking to everyone is clearly understood, right?
Yeah.
They each and every department, they'll be having their own assignment, and each and every department will be having the same deadline to submit their management plans. So before submission, they want to do the changes. The changes can be a minor changes, it can be major changes, or they want to edit something, they want to pull something, they want to omit something, they want to do some minor course corrections. So all these changes they can do on their own without sending this one for the approval. Can we do the changes? We want this one to be added. We want this one to be pulled out. So they have to send the change request. They have to get the formal approval. Then only they can do the changes, or they, without the formal approval or without sending the change request to the appropriate panel committee, they can do the changes.
Yeah, as long as it is not processed further, so internal changes can be done. No?
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is not baseline means we can do the changes. Once if it is baseline, then we cannot do the changes.
Yes. Once you are sending all the documents and all the documents are integrated and you got your baselines. Once it is baselined properly, once it is integrated after the approval and all the management plans are integrated, and the project manager is going to bring a single master document and it's given to the execution. If the owner of that management plan wants to do any changes, then only you need to send a change request. I want to do a course correction. I want to change the strategy of the scope, how it will be managed. So I want to bring a new strategy. I want to omit the old strategy because the old strategy find so stringent. The people is so it's not comfort. So if he is having this kind of intention, he has to push a change request. But during the development stage, during the people is adding the detail into the management plans, they can do a lot of changes without pushing the change request to the appropriate committee. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yeah.
Right. Once all the management plans are getting the approval and it's integrated as a single master document as a project management plan. So if the owner of that particular management plan want to do some changes, the procurement department, they want to do the changes, or IT department, they want to change the communication strategy in the communication management plan, which is integrated with the other management plan, then he should not do any kind of changes because it is integrated with the other management plans. He was going to do any changes that will be impacting other areas. So make sure that he's going to take the appropriate approval. That should be a formal approval. He has to document what changes he has to make. He has to get the approval. Then once it got approved, then he has to do the changes. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yeah, clear.
Clear. So we have a 10 management plans is integrated into a single master document called PMP. So the execution team will be receiving all the 10 management plans integrated. Right? So, okay, this 10 management plan is enough. This 10 management plan is enough for you to just execute your work. This 10 management plan is enough for you to execute your work. Hello?
Yeah, it's enough.
Enough, right? Enough. We can execute the work, right?
Yes.
You got your baselines. You got your baselines, Venkat? You got your baselines.
Obviously, we
You got
deny
your
it
management plan. You got your management plan. You got your scope management plan. Scope management plan will define you how to develop your baselines, how to establish your baselines. Schedule management plan will give you the information how to develop the schedule baselines. Cost management plan will be giving you the guidance, what all the things you need to do to develop to establish a cost baseline, right? You're never done with your baseline. You're done with your management plans. Only the management plans are integrated. You need to establish the baselines, right?
Yes.
So please note down. So the scope management, the technical department is advised to establish a baseline called scope baseline. Everyone is attentive, right? The planning engineers, they will be asked to establish a schedule baseline. The cost department, they're going to establish a baseline called cost baseline. So there are three baselines is very important. The
Mr.
scope.
Bala,
Yes.
the scope and schedule and cost baseline, everything will be generated during their phase one space itself, no?
Yeah, the same within the same space, sir.
Yeah, same space during the management plan itself, it will be derived, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will be done in the same phase. Without that, we are not able to hand over this one to the team, right?
Yes.
To the execution
Yeah.
team, right? So the
Yes.
scope, the technical department is responsible to develop the scope management plan, requirement management plan, and they are responsible to establish a scope baseline. Is it clear?
Yeah.
It's clear. Now, scope
Yes.
management. So scope baseline. Scope baseline. What is a scope baseline? What is a baseline, first of all? What do you mean by baseline?
It's called it as a reference of scope.
Do's and don'ts like that. So these
Oh.
are the word item and not the word or
Please note.
What we are going to do, what we are not going to do.
not
Yes,
the-
Work.
please note down. The scope baseline is nothing but your approved version of your scope. It's an approved version of your scope. So in the baseline is a word, and that is having a definition is that a line drawn in a sand, you're not allowed to step above the line. You need to just make sure that you need to do within your limits. So it's going to be an approved version of your scope, will be a scope baseline. It's an approved version of your scope. So once your team is going to create the requirement documentation, so that requirement documentation is clearly baselined, and that requirement documentation is helping you to define the scope statement. That scope statement is brought into a next process called create WBS, where you're going to establish the scope baseline. Right? Develop a scope management. That is the process is going to give you a scope management plan and the requirement management plan. Requirement management plan will be used as a main document for you to collect the requirement process. So once you're going to gather the requirements and collecting the requirements and dumping that requirements into the requirement documentations, that is completely baseline. So now it is going to the next process called define scopes process. So once you are bringing the detailed information about the deliverables or the scope of the project, you are able to define that one into the scope statement. Once you're going to bring the scope statement should be broken into scope baseline. You need to establish a scope baseline using a scope statement. Right? So what do you mean by scope baseline? It's an approved version of your scope. It's an approved version. It's a current approval. It's a current version of your scope. Right? So what you can see in the scope baseline? What you can see in the scope baseline? Scope baseline is established in a process called create WBS. Scope baseline, you're able to establish the scope baseline in a process called create a WBS. You're able to establish your scope baseline in a process called create a WBS. What is the WBS?
Work breakdown structure.
Okay, work breakdown structure. Okay, work breakdown structure. Why we need to have the work breakdown structure? This is going to be your
Then
airport.
we can understand the sequence.
This is going to be your airport, right? Can you just execute your airport as a single execution? Can you do in a single delivery?
No, without
what do you
impact, you need to do the
So what are you
delivery.
going to do? You are breaking your project, you are breaking your airport into more manageable components, right? Right or wrong?
Yes.
So what you're going to do, you are able to break that one into a runway infrastructure, runway composition, passenger terminal, right? Passenger terminal, cargo terminal, aircraft maintenance, project management, and you're going to bring something called food court. And again, the food court is broken into what? It is going to broken into a Tandoori Express, a Pizza Hut, and we have a KFC, right? And the KFC is broken into what? A kitchen, warmer, fryers. And kitchen is broken into what? Utensils, spoons, sink. So you are breaking that one into more manageable components where you can manage your work. Right or wrong, sir?
Yes.
I'm clear.
Yeah, well.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not able to do a single execution. I'm not able to execute the airport with a single execution. I need to make sure that I need to break that one into more manageable components. So create WBS is a process helping you break the project into multiple pieces. You love to eat the cake. Everyone loves to eat the cake for the birthday bash. So can you just consume that 1.5 G cake into a single mouth? Can you take into a mouth for a single one time into your mouth? Can you push that 1.5 G cake into a mouth at a single time? So how we are able to manage to eat it? How we are managing to eat it, guys? You're breaking that one into so small pieces, right? It can go into your mouth, right or wrong, Ms. Kala? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
Right? So the create WBS, the scope statement, what is the difference between the scope statement and the project charter? Project charter also will be having the same information. Scope statement also will be having the same information. But as the project is progressively elaborated, the project charter will transmit all the high level information into detail level informations. The information level will be differs. The scope statement will be having the detail level information. So the project charter will be having a high level informations. And from the project charter to the scope statement, you know very well, there is a bridging process called collect requirements. Until you are able to gather the requirements, you are not able to define the scope. So once you start defining the scope, you are bringing the defined scope into a scope statement. That scope statement is giving the information about the deliverables. You are able to define information, detailed information about the deliverables. So that deliverable you are not able to execute in a single execution. You're breaking the deliverables into more manageable components. So the create WBS process is going to help you to just break the complete scope of the work into more manageable pieces. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Clear, Bala.
Yes, Bala.
Okay. So the create WBS is a process that will be establishing a scope baseline. Scope baseline. So if anyone is asking you what do you mean by established baseline? Established baseline will be having 5 documents. It will be having 5 documents. So what are they? The first document is approved scope statement. Please note down approved scope statement. The first document is an approved scope statement. The first document in the scope baseline is called as an approved scope statement. Approved. Right? This is the first document within the scope baselines. So what you can see in the scope statement, approved scope statement, you got the clear approval for each and every deliverables, and each and every deliverables will be having a detailed level of informations, definitions, the complete assumption which is going to impact your deliverables, the complete constraint is going to impact your deliverables. What do you mean by assumption and constraint? What do you mean by assumption and constraint? Anyone? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Bala. We are with
Yes,
you.
What do you
yes.
mean? I'm asking you, what do you mean by assumption and constraint?
Assumption.
Assuming, providing
Assumption means
all the-
something as we need to assume it is.
Yeah,
The scope is
assumption
not
means
clear.
no,
Scope.
everything is available. We are in the document we
Available
used to
like
mention. Assumption means something will be available. We can start the project. As we are assuming the client will give this support, everything.
Okay,
Then
what happened? The assumption which you done 4 weeks back or 1 month back proven false. What happened? Your assumption which you made 4 weeks back or 4 months back is proven false. It will increase the risk or decrease the risk.
Increase the risk.
Always, it will increase the risk. Your assumption, if it is going to proven as true, then there will be no risk. If the assumption which you made long back, it's going to be proven as false, that will be increasing a lot of risk. So assumption is, please note on the definition for assumption is that for planning purpose, you consider some factors will be true. For planning purpose or for planning sake, you consider some factors will be true. What happens if an important person is going to leave for the maternity leave, is leave the organization for the maternity leave? She is the only subject matter experts. She is working as a lead engineer and she is going to leave the organization because she is pregnant. Because of the maternity, she is going to leave the organization. What happens? What happens if you're not able to get the important consignment for the French food? What happened? But important contractor is going for a bankrupted. So this is all the assumption. Each and every time you need to validate. So if you're not validating your assumptions, there should be timely validations. You need to revisit your assumptions and you have to check whether the assumption is proven false or the assumption is going to prove as a true. If you are not revisiting or revalidating your assumptions, definitely your project will be a major victim for failure. You're going to make the project as a victim to the assumption which you are not able to revisit or revalidate. Many mega scale projects, they are not able to revisit the assumptions. So the project went for a failure. So always make sure that you need to just revisit your assumptions. If you're not revisiting your assumption, then the project will go for a failure. And the assumption which you made long back, it's proven as a false assumption, then it is going to add the risk to your projects. What is the constraints? Assumption and constraints are blood brothers and blood sisters. So what is the constraints? What do you mean by constraints?
Constraints means difficulties.
Constraint means is what? Constraint means it is what?
During execution, what are the difficulties?
It's a limitations, right?
We might be faced.
It's a limitations. So make sure that always, if your assumption is proven as a false, it is going to increase the risk. Then you're going to create a statement called problem statement. And if you're going to free up your constraint, you'll be creating a statement called a benefit statement. Right or wrong, sir? You know very well that you are a contractor working for the client. You are giving the multiple justification to the client to give the extension of time. The client is not able to understand. They are not giving you the extension of time. They ask you to deliver on the given delivery date. But your management is so adamant that they are not allowing the workers to work 6 days in a week. They are working. They ask you to just use the workers or resources only 5 days in a week. So that is a major reason for you to get the delay. So that's a major constraints. If they're going to free up the constraints, so that will be a problem or a benefit for you. Hello?
Benefit only.
It's a benefit, right? You need to bring that benefit into a statement called benefit statement, right? For a critical component, you need $36,000 for you to complete your work. Only $36,000 is needed. But the management is so adamant, they are going to give you only $28,000. So what you're going to do, you're going to skip up the quality. Number of inspection will be reduced, or you will not call the auditors to do the audit and you will not get the audit reports. Now the product is taken to the customer. The customer is finding out the defect. Always the external defect will be more costlier. Now the management is understanding, okay, this all the things will happen. That's the reason you are asking 36,000. Okay, no problem. Tomorrow we'll be asking the financial department to give 36,000. They are freeing up your constraints. So that will be a benefit or a problem to you.
Benefit one.
It's a benefit, right? So predefined budget is always a constraint. Predefined budget will be one of the example you can give for the constraints. So the assumption and constraint will be what all the assumption which is going to impact your deliverables, what are the constraint you have in constraint bringing the deliverables. So that will be given in the approved statement. That will be documented in the approved statement. You can have the assumption and constraint within the scope statement, or you can have a separate standalone document for assumption and constraint. The document is called as the assumption log. Either you can use a standalone document to just bring all your assumption and constraint in a standalone document called assumption log, or you will be using the assumption and constraint within the scope statement. If we open the scope statement, you can see the assumption, constraint, and various risk factors. What all the risk factors you have in completing your deliverables. And apart from this, you know very well, you need to know about your inclusions and you need to know about your exclusions. Inclusion and exclusion are the boundaries. The real name for you to just give for the scope is that within the range. Try to complete your work within the range, nothing less, nothing more. That is the definition is given to the scope. So you need to know about your boundaries, what should be done, what should not be done. The scope is nothing but the work you need to perform, 100% you need to deliver, not less, not more. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
So once you try to establish the scope baseline, if anyone is asking, what do you mean the scope baseline? Scope baseline is having 5 integrated documents. the first integrated document within the scope baseline will be your approved scope statement. If you're going to open that approved scope statement, you can see the complete information will be defined very clearly, very thoroughly, very concisely for each and every deliverables which you're going to deliver. Then you can see the complete assumption and constraint factors, risk factors, and you'll be knowing your boundaries, inclusions and exclusion, what should be included and what should be excluded, right? And apart from this, you make sure that you have to bring your acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria will be one of the important things. Once you are able to complete your deliverables, you need to just take the scope statement and you have to use your requirement and traceability matrix at the closing stage of your project. If they are not accepting, you need to justify, they have to accept it. So these are all the things they have accepted as acceptance criteria. You have to get the signatory. Without getting the signatory, you are not able to close a particular phase of your project. You can't close your procurements. You can't close the phase of your projects. So you need to make sure there should be clear acceptance criteria that should be mentioned in the approved scope statement. Is it clear or not, guys? Everyone?
Yeah, clear.
Always, you need to be, being a proactive project manager, you make sure that the people has to follow a rule called a SMART rule. The SMART rule should be followed in bringing the approved scope statement or SMART principles. What do you mean by SMART rule and SMART principles? S stands for specific. The scope should be specific, very specific to the project. It should be measurable. S stands for measurable. S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable. It should be achieved by the person who's going to work for the scope. It should be achievable. And R stands for realistic. And T stands for time bound. Time bound. So S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, T stands for time bound. So you need to advise your person to have the scope statement. So they need to follow this kind of principle, a SMART rule or a SMART principle. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Right? The second,
Yes.
the second integrated document within the established scope baseline will be your WBS. And we know very well, we are studying about the project management. There are a lot of BS. We have OBS, we have RBS, and we have one more RBS. RBS. So what do you mean? What do you mean by this? This is your work breakdown structure, right? Right or not?
Yes.
And this is your organizational breakdown structure. It's a stripped down version of your organization where you're going to break your organization into different departments and units. So without OBS, you are not able to give the reporting relationships. In the adaptive project, there is no thing called reporting relations. It doesn't require to report. But the Scrum Master has to monitor the work, and that should be reported through the management through the schematic display called burn up chart and burn down chart. So they will not report. The team has to work. So because each and every people are cross-functional in nature, and these people doesn't have any kind of designations. They are having the same kind of designation. The people will be calling them as a developers or the team members. So there is no OBS required there. But in the case of predictive project, you need to just make sure that you need to have the OBS, organizational breakdown structure. If you don't have the OBS, and if you're not giving the reporting relationship to the people, what happens? It looks like a clumsy, or it will be looking like friendly, the environment. If you are not giving the clear reporting relationships to the teams, what happens?
To be clumsy.
It will be clumsy, right? Each and every one will be claiming they are managers. So you need to make sure who is the manager and who will be the subordinate to report to the managers. So you need to have your line managers, you need to have your supervisor, or you need to have your other person to manage your team, so you can extract the report from each and every team members. So OBS is very important. It's going to breaking your organization into different departments and units. Next come RBS. So this RBS, the acronym R stands for resource breakdown structure. What is the benefit in breaking your resources? You're able to bring the resources and you're able to put into a particular category. In what way your resource breakdown structure is helping you? You're breaking your resources and you're bringing into a particular category. You are bringing the welders into a particular category. You are bringing the gas cutter into a particular category. pipe fitters into a category, IT people into a particular category, foremen into a particular category, skilled level laborers into a particular category, non-skilled level laborers into a particular category, heavy equipments, smaller equipments, process equipments. So you are able to categorize your resources. In what way it is helping you to categorize your resources? In
Based
what
on
way?
skills.
Huh?
Skill
Yeah.
sets.
Please, it is helping you to give the proper assignments. Is it clear or not? For assigning your people or assigning your physical resource, if you have the RBS, you're putting the RBS into a category. You're breaking the resources into a particular category. So it is very easy for you to give the assignments. So you're able to just assign the resources based on the RBS. And this RBS is nothing but your risk breakdown structure. So what is the benefit in breaking the risk into categories? You're breaking the risk into category. You're putting the risk into the category, each and every risk into a particular category. External risk, internal risk, commercial risk, project management risk, right? Technical risk. So if you're going to just bring this one, if you have this kind of category and you're bringing each and every risk even to its category after you've done your assessments. So what is the benefit the project is going to gain? Okay.
You can plan to mitigate those.
Okay, you have 1,000 risk. You have thousands risk in the risk register. It's registering in the risk register. Can you just focus all the 1,000 risk at a single glance?
And prioritize the
Prioritize. If you're going to bring the risk into the category, which risk right now I need to prioritize, right? And for example, if you brought the external risk may be communication, poor communication. It's going to create some problem between the vendors and the management. Poor communication. So you brought 180 risk because of communications. If you are not bringing that 180 risk because of poor communication, what is the benefit you're going to lose? You need to respond to this risk event, right? 180 risk event is coming because of the poor communication. You have to respond to that. What you're going to do to avoid the poor communication, you have to do the response. You have to, right or not?
Build effective communication.
So no, yeah. So what you're going to do, if you're not putting that 180 risk of poor communication, you will respond this risk even for 180 times. Right or wrong, sir? Right or wrong? You'll be planning your responses 180 response. You'll be planning for 180 risk events, right? Right or not? Sir, because of poor communication, we are having the fight between the vendors, contractors, subcontractor, and the management. Because we need to fix this one. So you are finding the communication risk and you're not categorizing it. So if you're not categorizing, and you brought the individual 180 risk is because of communication, that you and your team will plan 180 individual responses. Right or wrong, sir?
Yeah, got it.
So it will take a lot of time.
Will be
it will
reduced.
take a lot of time, it will take a lot of effort, it will take a lot of resources, and money also is wasted there. So 180 risk is coming of poor communication. If you're able to categorize this one, you are able to come with a generic response. One single generic response will make you to fix the poor communication. Right or wrong?
Correct.
Correct. Everyone accepted?
Yes.
Okay. Now at this juncture, we are saying about the WBS. We need to focus on WBS. Work breakdown structure is a second document within the established scope baselines. Right? Please note down the WBS is a word. WBS is a definition or a term is used only in the predictive project, but Miss Kala, she has to use the same WBS is called as what? Kala, you know that, Miss Kala?
Yes. Bala?
What word you going to use for WBS in the adaptive projects?
Stories.
No. Stories will be what? That's a manageable components, right? If you're going to break the product into more features, that will be features. Will be manageable components. You can manage each and every features, right? Please note down the same WBS is called in the adaptive project as epics.
Epics. Okay.
So don't get confused. The word epics is used in the adaptive project. The same WBS is called as a epics. Like how the requirement management plan is called in the predictive project, they're going to call as a business analysis plan. The WBS is called as the epics. larger epics or smaller epics, they're going to call the WBS as epics, nothing but the product, right? So now the WBS. So now you know very well WBS airport. So we're going to do the airport. So since we are not able to deliver the airport in the single execution, we need to break that one into more manageable components, right? More manageable components, right? Okay. So what is the benefit in breaking the complete project into WBS? Why? What is the necessity for you to bring your complete project into a hierarchical structure? Why you are breaking down? Why you are breaking a project into more pieces?
So it will be easy to execute and
It is
without
very easy to execute, right? It is very easy for
Yeah.
you to execute each and every single piece of work, right or wrong? Right? Right? Everyone is right, right? Everyone saying is right, right? Because it's a very big lump of work. We are not able to deliver that one. How are you going to eat the elephants? How are you going to eat the elephant? Can you take the complete elephant into your mouth? Or are you going to cut the elephant into more manageable pieces? You are able to cut the elephant into more manageable pieces, right or wrong, sir?
Yes, yes.
So same thing you're going to do in your project. Since that particular work is very big, the deliverable is so huge, we are not able to deliver in a single execution. We are breaking the deliverable into more more manageable component. As a manageable component, you are able to manage it, right? Now, please note out in the business term, once you are breaking the complete project deliverable, your project deliverable, major deliverable into more manageable deliverables, you are able to show the complete project to your owners. So once you're showing the complete project to your owners, sir, this is the project, sir, this is the complete project, and this is where you're going to get your cabin. I'm going to get my cabin, and this is the workstation, and this is a parking lot, right? This is a corridor. So you are able to show the complete project to the sponsors. In the business term, they'll be calling this one as a buy-in. Buy-in. The buy-in is nothing but once the sponsor is saying, oh, this is where I'm going to get the cabin. This is a place where we're going to the parking. This is a place you'll be getting your cabin. This is a place where the individual people will be getting their workstation. This is a corridor. This is a maintenance room. Oh. So you are able to extract the cooperation from your stakeholders or the sponsor, and the business term is called as a buy-in. They'll be nodding their head. Go ahead. I'll ask the financial person to release the funds. So that is the benefit you're going to get once you're breaking the project into more manageable components. One project is broken down into more manageable components. You are able to bring into an hierarchical structure, and that structure is called as a WBS. Right or wrong, guys?
Yeah, well,
Okay, now, who will be working the runway infrastructure? Who will be working for runway composition? Who will be working for passenger terminal? Who will be working for cargo terminal? Who will be working for traffic signals? Who will be working for food court? Who will be working for aircraft maintenance? And who's going to do the project management? So how we are able to differentiate each and every pieces? How we are able to differentiate each and every pieces within the hierarchical structure? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Bala.
yeah,
How
well,
we are able to differentiate the work? How we are able to differentiate each and every component in the same hierarchical structure?
Number.
By giving the ID for each and every WBS component, right? So this is a major WBS component. We can give the ID 1.0. So it's coming from the same component. So we can keep this one as a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. And this is coming here 1.4.1, 1.5.1. Right or not, guys?
Yes.
So you are able to identify the each and every WBS component within the same hierarchical structure by providing the numbers. So this kind of numbering system in giving the number or identification to each and every WBS component, please note, is called as code of accounts. So anyone is asking you, what is the number is given? What is the ID is given? What is the ID is given? So that is a numbering system, sir. we need to know what kind of work we need to perform. What is that deliverables? What is the name given for the deliverables? So passenger terminal. So we'll be working for passenger terminal. So we'll be giving the ID to the person who's going to work for this particular portion of the work. Is that clear or not, guys? So this kind of numbering system that will be giving the identification for each and every WBS component, which is there in the same hierarchical structure, is called as a code of accounts. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, Bala.
Okay. Now my question to you: what is the percentage of work you're going to do for this particular deliverables? What is the percentage of work you will be planning? You will be planning 100% or less than 100% or more than 100%? Hello?
100% only.
Right? 100% work you'll be planning, right? To deliver it, right?
Yes.
So once you're going to count the next level, which is one more level lower than the first level, once you're going to add all this will add to contribute 100%, right? Each and every level of your WBS has to contribute 100% of work, right or wrong, sir? Everyone?
Yes.
Please note down.
Yes.
This is called as 100% rule. Please note that 100% rule should be followed. 100% rule should be followed for each and every WBS component. So once you're adding the lowest level for all the components in the lowest level, that should give 100% work. Once you're going to take to the highest next level, one level above, so that should give 100%. And once you're going to take to the project level, that is the last level. So the total project should plan for 100%, not less, not more. So this kind of rule is called as a 100% rule. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, now the total project is 1 million, for example, $1 million US. So now, once you're going to break this one, you're going to just know very well how much you're going to spend for runway infrastructure, how you're going to this one, how much you're going to spend for this particular WBS component, and how much you're going to spend for a passenger terminal, how much you're going to spend for this one. And once you're breaking the passenger terminal, should be broken down into further one more level, two more level, right? So each and every level of WBS component will be having its own expenditures, right or wrong, sir?
Yeah, Bala.
Right. Now, being a project manager, it's your responsibility. You are a proactive project manager. Your responsibility. You need to know the nitty-gritty information about each and every WBS component. Can we expect your management or your owners or the sponsor to have this kind of granular level of information?
Never.
Can you expect the management to have this kind of nitty-gritty or granular level of information to know the nook and corner of your project? They need a detailed level, or they need a summary level.
Summary level.
Summary level. So once your management is asking you to report how much it is costing, so far, how much you have spent. So what you do, you will just accumulate some of your WBS component. What all the expense which you are happening at the lowest level, that is brought into the highest level, and you're going to accumulate all this, and you'll be reporting the cost status. Sir, so far we spent nearly 400,000, sir. So this kind of cost reporting by accumulating the WBS component is called as anyone knows? Anyone knows? Please note that this is called as a cost of account. Code of account is a numbering system. Cost of account, where you are able to just accumulate some of the WBS component, you're going to report together. You are able to aggregate the various WBS component, and you are able to show the cost status to the sponsor or the owner of the company. So this reporting system is called as a cost of account. So far, how much you ought to spend it. Is clear or not, guys? Is clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's clear. Now, again, we go for this WBS. We are breaking this WBS because of our convenience, right? So what information you can see in this WBS component? This is a major component, and this is one level below the major component. This is also one of the WBS component. This also is one of the WBS component. This is also one of the WBS component. This is also one of the WBS component, right? So what information you can see in each and every WBS component? Again, we're going to break this one, right? And this is the father, and this is a parent. This is the child, right? We are giving the relationships. It's coming from the same parent. So WBS component. So once you're completing this two, you're able to complete this, right? Right?
Yes.
Right. So 100%, you are giving 100% here. right? Now, what happened here? What information you can see in each and every WBS component? What information you can see in each and every WBS component? You'll be seeing the ID, right? It's 1.1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. It's coming from the same parent, so we'll keep 1.3.1, 1.3.2, right? You'll give the ID, numbering system, code of accounts. What else you can see? What else you'll be seeing in the WBS component? You will be seeing the detailed information, or you'll be seeing a small text is describing.
Small text.
Okay, the small text is which is the runway infrastructure, runway composition, passenger terminal, cargo terminal, right? Right or not? Right, Ms. Kalam? Only a small scope
Yes,
of
yes.
work is described there, right?
Yes, Bala. Yes.
So you doesn't know the detailed level of information. If I want to know about this WBS component, I want to know about this WBS component in detail. I want to know the complete technical information about each and every WBS. I want to know the method statement. I want to know about the bill of quantity. I want to know the quality performance. I want to know the technical performance. I need to know how much resource we're going to spend, how much money we're going to spend. I need to know the complete information about the location where we need to deliver this particular WBS component. I need to know the complete information about each and every WBS component in the WBS structure, where I'm going to refer. There should be a document, right?
Yeah.
So please note on the third document, which is associated with the scope baseline, is called as a WBS dictionary. So WBS dictionary is a technical document that will be giving the complete information about each and every WBS component in the same hierarchical structure. All the technical information, bill of quantity, method statement, everything, technical performance, quality performance, procurement, resources, delivery, ID, everything will be going into this particular technical document called WBS dictionary. Each and every WBS component will be defined very detailed, technical, all the administrative information goes into a document called WBS dictionary. So this will be the third document in the established scope baseline. You are getting the scope statement approved. That is the first document within the established scope baseline. The second document is your WBS, where you are able to bring the hierarchical structure. You are able to exhibit your complete project to the sponsor to get your buy-in support. And the third one is your WBS dictionary. Is it clear or not, guys?
Yes.
Okay, clear. Okay, we have the WBS. We have the WBS. This is a major deliverable, and we are breaking that one into more minor level, right, to our convenience. So what is the tool which is used for you to break this? What is the tool you will be using for you to break your major project into more minor level? That level will be a management level for you. What tool is used? This is your major WBS. This is one level below your major WBS. This is also one of the WBS component that is in the minor level. And this level is so minor, and this will be the last level. So what is the tool is used for you to breaking down? A tool has to help you to break your WBS, right? See, there is a tool that will be used for you to cut your trees, chisel, right? Right or not? Or you'll be using the tree cutter for you to cut your trees. So there should be a tool for you to cut your WBS. So that has to chisel very properly, and it has to chisel each and every WBS component. You need to have a clear hierarchical structure. If there is a bicycle, I'm going to just bring a WBS for the bicycle. So how I'm going to do this one? Bicycle is a major deliverable. So what all the components which is assigned to this bicycle, I'm going to bring that one as a separate WBS component, like a crank shift brakes, wheel, front wheel, back wheel, seat, gear, everything, handlebar, everything, spokes, everything will be a WBS component, right or not, sir? Venkat, you are there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Venkat, there, you are there? Vinod, Yuvraj, Nitin,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rajendra, Ms. Kala, everyone is here, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Bala.
yeah,
So
Bala.
what tool will be used for you to do this kind of chiseling work? What is the tool name which is helping you? Each and every industry will be having their own WBS. If they have the organizational process, they know what kind of WBS and what level they need to stop their WBS. If they doesn't have any idea, they're going to do this one for the first time. So they'll be going for an enterprise environmental factor. There is any kind of benchmark or publications available for them to have the industry reference. So which industry they work, they're going to take the journal or they're going to buy some databases. They're going to use that one for them to create the WBS. So what a tool is used for you to just do this one. Please note on the tool which is used for you to do this kind of work is called as the decomposition. Guys, again, we are looking about the scope baselines. We are establishing the scope baseline. This has to send to the project manager because we have to integrate with the other management plans. So we need to establish three kind of baseline. One is your scope baseline, cost baseline, another one is your skill baselines. So we are establishing right now the scope baselines. We have a scope management plan and the requirement management plan in the first process. The requirement management plan is helping us to do the collect requirement process. We are collecting the requirements. We are documenting that one in the requirement documentations. To support the requirement documentation, to track each and every requirement throughout the life cycle. So we are creating one more document called requirement traceability matrix. From there, we with the help of the requirement documentation, we are able to create the scope statement. We are able to define the information for our project. So that will be very detailed. Right now, that scope statement should get the approval. We have to establish a scope baseline. So using the scope statement, we are establishing the scope baselines. So once we are opening the scope baseline, we are able to get our scope statement, which is approved, which will be having the assumptions and constraints, which will be having the complete risk factors for our deliverables, inclusions and exclusions. And we need to just bring the acceptance criteria and make sure that you need to just make the technical department should follow the SMART tool or SMART principles to develop the approved scope statement. Then we are able to bring that scope into a graphical structure called WBS. We are able to give the complete exposure of our project, and we are able to show the complete project to the sponsor to get the buy-in support, right? And we are able to give the numbers for each and every WBS component in the same hierarchical structure in order to avoid confusions, in order to just give the indication who will be working for which WBS component. And we are giving the scope described. To know more information about each and every WBS component, there is a third document within the established scope baseline. It's called the WBS dictionary, which will be giving all kind of reference, technical informations, quality, the procurement information, quality information, technical performance. So everything is kept there in the WBS component. The tool which is used for us to break the WBS is called the decompositions, right? So the definition which is given to the decomposition is that nothing but the complete project scope is broken down into more manageable components. This is the definition is given to the decomposition. The complete scope of the work is broken down into more manageable components. But you can see that same definition is given to the WBS also. You're able to break the complete scope and you're able to bring that one into more manageable component level. So what is the difference between the decomposition and the WBS? Both are having the same definitions. The complete scope is broken into more manageable component. So you can use this one for WBS and you can bring this one for the decomposition also. So what is the difference between decomposition and WBS? Both are having the same definitions. What I'm asking is clearly understand, right?
Decomposition is a tool, right? To
Yes,
break down
decomposition is a tool. WBS is going to be a document. Don't never make a mistake. They're going to ask this one in the examination point of view. Decomposition will be one of the tool will be used for you to just break your complete work, and they're going to bring a document called WBS. Is it clear? Everyone is clear, guys? WBS is a schematic display that you're going to document it in a document. So the WBS is a document. Decomposition is a tool helping you to just do the WBS. Okay. Now my question to you. Can you just break your WBS major deliverable into more minor level? What level you're going to stop your decompositions? Too much of decomposition will be non-productive, right? What level you're going to stop? What level you're going to stop? What level you'll be stopping? You have to stop some level, right?
Yes, Bala.
Okay, what level you'll be stopping? Too much of decomposition is non-productive. Excessive decomposition is not entertained. You have to stop somewhere. Too much of chiseling will be non-productive. So there is no hard and fast rules or golden rules. So this level you need to stop. But logically you and your team is going to stop. Okay, I think that we can stop here, where we can define our tasks, where we can estimate our resources, where we can estimate our cost, where we can estimate our schedule, where we know very well whether we can just do from our own resources or we can do the procurement. So all this information you can do, but level you need to stop. Which level you will be stopping? Which level you will be stopping, guys? And that will be the lowest level, last level of your WBS component. Too much of decomposition is not good. You have to stop somewhere. So the point where you're going to stop your decomposition, that is the lowest level. So anyone knows that one? Please note down. So that will be your fourth document. That will be your fourth document. You got your major deliverable here and you're breaking that one into pieces, right? Where you can manage your work. Maybe this will be the last level, right? So this is the last level. I'm going to stop my decomposition. So what is this particular level called? So please note down the fourth document, that will be the last level or the lowest level of a WBS is called as the work packages. So if anyone is asking you what is the work package, you need to just close your eyes. You need to report them. You have to say that the last level of my WBS is called as the work package level. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, it's
now,
clear.
this is your WBS. This is your WBS, work breakdown structure. The exam question will be asking, the WBS is focused. What is the focus of WBS? The focus of the WBS is a deliverable oriented. Deliverable oriented. The focus of the WBS is a task oriented. The third option is that it's a deliverable and task oriented. Or the focus of the deliverable will be a customer oriented. Keep on asking. Couple of days, one person has wrote the examination. They were asking the same questions. We are discussing in the last class. 2 months before we completed the classes, we are discussing the same thing, and that is the same thing. The same question has came to that person. So, what is the WBS? The focus of the WBS is deliverable oriented, task oriented, deliverable plus task oriented, or customer oriented. What is your option?
3.
3. Deliverables and tasks.
Deliverable and task. Deliverable and task, right? We can go with option 3, right? Guys, task, where you going to define? This is the lowest level of WBS. We are still in the scope, right? See, this is your major level. This is your deliverable is a major level. This is one level below the major level. So it can becomes a minor level once we are comparing to the major above level. And this two WBS component is still a minor level compared to the previous level. And this is a last level. This is the lowest level. And this is the work package level, right? So once you are defining your work packages, what is the next thing you have to do? What is the next thing you have to do? So once you are coming with the work package, the project is having 80 work packages. So once you
will define the activities.
So once you are coming with once the technical department is able to come with 80 work packages, you will be calling your planning engineers to define the task, right?
Yes.
They have to do the task, right? Mechanical task, electrical task, plumbing task, submission task, metal submittal, milestone. So they need to just bring the task list, right? So once they are defining the task, they are able to estimate the duration. They are able to estimate the resources. They are able to estimate the cost, right or wrong, guys?
Yes, Bala.
So now what happened here? We are going to focus only the scope. The correct answer for you to choose from the available 4 options is only the deliverable oriented. Task is pertinent to the time management. We are not discussing anything to the time. So we are bringing the lowest level. Our lowest level is going to be work package level. Each and every WBS component is going to be deliverable oriented. Task and all you are able to define only in the schedule management, not in the scope management, right or wrong, guys? Now you are able to understand, Ms. Kala. Don't try to make a mistake. Each and every WBS component, whether it's a major level WBS component, minor level WBS component, mid level WBS component, each and every WBS component is going to focus only on the deliverable oriented. It's going to focus only on the deliverables. Everyone is getting my point?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So what all the documents are integrated in the established scope baseline? We got our approved scope statement. The second one is your WBS. The third one is going to be a WBS dictionary. That is going to be a technical document that supports each and every WBS with a lot of informations. The fourth one is the lowest level. The last level of a WBS component will be your work package level. What is the fifth document? Please note down. The fifth document, which is integrated in the in the established scope baseline, is called as planning package. So what do you mean a planning package? It's very simple. This is the lowest level. We call this as a work package level. One level above the work package level, always it is called as a planning package. One level above the work package level, always it is called as a planning package. You and your team are coming to that planning package level, but you are knowing that particular deliverable. You know about how to deliver, what to deliver, how to work to deliver this one. You know that one, but still you have a feeling, can we just break one more level down? So if you're going to break one more level down, so that level is called as a work package. The level where you decide to break the one more level down, that level is called as a planning package level. Is it clear or not, guys? So your established scope baseline is integrated with the 5 documents. The first one is what? Your approved scope statement. The second one is your WBS. The third one is your WBS dictionary. The fourth one is your planning package. The last one is your work packages. So everything is integrated. We're going to call this one as a scope baseline. The tool to break your complete scope of the work is decomposition. The same tool will be used for you to define your task under each and every work package. So that will be also decomposition. Is it clear or not, guys? Each and every WBS component, whether it's a major level WBS component in the same hierarchical structure, middle level or lowest level of a WBS component, it's going to be deliverable oriented. The focus is only deliverables, not the task. Any doubts you have? Any doubts you have? So how many documents is integrated in the project management plans? How many documents you're able to integrate into the project management plans?
10.
11, right? 11. You're able to see the screen back, the project management plan.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
are integrating 10 management plans and the scope baseline is added, right? So 11 documents is integrated, right? 11 documents is integrated, right or wrong? Now. Hello?
But the first one, do we
But
need to
already,
consider,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, integration you didn't say.
management?
Already scope
need to count?
management.
10 management plans is integrated. And once the scope baseline is happening in the planning or execution, you're able to establish the scope baseline in the planning stage or execution stage. You're able to establish the scope baseline in planning under the planning
Planning.
stage. Planning,
Planning.
right?
Planning.
So team will be waiting for you to establish the scope baseline. So that also will be given to the project manager, right? He has to give the information to the execution, how many deliverables they have to execute, right? Scope management plan will teach you how to develop the scope baseline, right? How many processes you need to perform to reach to that level, right? Who will be the person to involve in establishing the scope baseline? Scope management plan is only the reference document. How much money you're going to spend for each and every process, what activity you need to perform for each and every process. That will be a guideline document for you to establish the scope baseline. Is it clear or not, guys? Hello?
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
So in
10
only for-
10 management plans is integrated and 3 baselines should be integrated. So the first baseline, we are establishing the scope baseline and that is also integrated, right? So 11 documents we have integrated, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Integrated. 11 documents is integrated. Two more baselines should be coming from the schedulers, and one document should be coming from the cost estimators. That is schedule management and the cost management plan, right? Now, before going into that topic, we established the scope baseline. Now it got integrated. Can we do the changes as our own?
After baseline,
After the
No.
baseline and it is integrated with other documents, it's ready to go with the execution people. So can we do any kind of changes here?
Change request. Yeah,
Yes,
no.
you can do the changes by pushing the change request. If you want to add the scope or if you want to omit the scope, you have to push the change request, because this document right now become a formal document. Previously, it was informal document. So you and your team, once you are establishing, you are making some changes. But right now, once this document got it's a baseline, it's got its approved in final version, it entered into the final version, it's given to the project manager. No one is allowed to do any kind of changes. Even the technical department was involved in creating this document, establishing this document, they are not allowed to do the changes until they're going to push the change request. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now who's going to receive the change request? The project manager will decide. The project manager is, you know very well, is going to work in the projectized organization. He's going to work in the strong matrix. So he's having the mammoth power. So he can do the changes on his own, or he is allowed to do the changes.
No, only we need to get.
Why
a-
the project manager is not allowed to do the changes? Why the management is the person to give the mammoth power from the project manager. The organization is a strong matrix. It's not a weak or it's not a balance. It's a strong matrix. You have a separate line or stripped down version for the project managers and the projects. So the project manager is he can take decisions. Why the project manager is not allowed by the management who's giving the mammoth power to the project manager to make the changes? Why the project manager is not allowed?
No, changes
Well,
might impact the
Miss Kala,
budget also.
Miss Kala,
Yes,
if you are a
Bala.
project manager, you are managing a decent sized project. If I'm going to give you an authority to make the changes on your own, will you take this one granted and you will not play favoritism to your project?
No.
You'll play favoritism to your project, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
That's the reason. Always the project management institute is asking you to have a separate entity. That entity will be having the complete absolute power. This entity is called as a CCB. Please note on Change Control Board. Since the project manager should not play the favoritism because it's own project, so he should not play any kind of favoritism. So there will be a specially constituted group, an entity. So that can be a combination of internal and external consultants, or you can pick up someone from the steering committee, or you can call anyone from as a consultant from external, or you can call the client representative to sit as a panel committee members within the CCB. The CCB is nothing but Change Control Board. So if any changes, scope related changes, cost related changes, resource related changes, regulation related changes, internal changes, external changes are coming from anywhere, any parties. So there is a separate entity is there to just receive your changes. They will review your changes, and they are the final authority, or they are the decision maker whether to give the approval or to give the rejections. Hello? Sir, Venkateshan sir, can you just mute your mic, please? Please. So CCB is nothing but Change Control Board is the final authority to give the changes. To review the changes, they will be taking the final decision whether to give the approval or rejections. So as a requester, you need to send your request form. So you need to push your request form either manually or you need to follow a workflow engine through online. You can submit and you need to wait for some time for them to do the review. Right or not, guys? Right?
Yes.
The CCB,
yes.
the CCB can be called as, so some organization, they're going to call the same CCB as engineers. Engineers, right? Some industry, they're going to call these people as a consultant. Some people will be calling this one as a CAB, Control Advisory Board. Some people will be calling this one as a TAB, Technical Advisory Board. In engineering organization, especially in mechanical engineering, they're going to call these people as a TRB, Technical Review Board. Either you call as engineers, you call as a consultant, you call as a Control Advisory Board, you call this one as a Technical Advisory Board, or you will be calling this one as a Technical Review Board. But according to the PMI terminology, we need to stick on to something called CCB, Change Control Board. They can give only the rejections and they can give only the approval. Only two things they can do. Or what else they can do? Now we have established the scope baseline. The work is 10% is completed, but the technical department, they feel that they need to make some course correction in the scope baseline. They want to add some scope, or the client is requesting to add some scope. They are ready to pay for the extra money. So we have to push the change request to the CCB. So they can, they will, as a requester, we are filling the information. We are sending our form to them. They will do the review and they will give only the approval, or they're going to give the rejections. Only two things they can give.
They can also advise, right?
Okay, they will push the change request back to the requester. Why? Because the requester has not given the substantial information, or he is not attached the supporting document for them to give the approval, right or wrong? There is no enough details for the person to give the approval or rejection. So you need to fill this information. So they're going to send the form back to the requester, right or wrong, sir? Or sometimes they will defer. That means they will delay the change request because they are waiting for the reports from the lab for them to take a judgment. Is it clear or not, sir? So either they review it, so either they give the approval if everything is substantial and with the supporting document from the requester, or they will reject, they will give the explanation why it is rejected, or they will delay because they are waiting for the results from the lab, or they are waiting for the new government to form, and new government is announced to come with a lot of reforms. They're waiting for the new government to take in charge for them to give the approval or rejection, or they will send the request form back to the requester because that request form is not having enough information for the CCB to give the approval or rejections. They are not able to take a judgment. Is it clear or not, guys? Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you are a requester. You want to do some course correction. You want to add some scope because the client with a discussion, high-level discussion, they are asking you to add the scope, and you're saying that, okay, added scope should be added with the time scale. Added time scale should add with the resources. So there should budget also will be added. So everything is approved. The contract price is revised. Everything is approved. Everything is good, fine. Now, as a requester, you're going to send the form to the CCB because they have the baseline document. What baseline document? All the document, up-to-date document, they also will be having a copy. So now you need to make some course correction in that baseline document. So without the formal change request approval, you're not able to do it. So what kind of change request are you going to recommend from your side as a requester, please?
Incremental or decremental?
No. What kind of changes?
Oh.
Changes is that whether you're going to add or you're going to omit, right? What kind of recommendation you need to come from your side as a requester? The reasons are substantial. It should have the proper supporting document, right? And you have to fill all the information for them to do the review, and they have to give the approval. So that will go, that makes you to do the changes. But the recommendation has to come from the recommender. So what recommendation from your side you need to push? Please note down, there are three kinds of recommendation you can recommend for scope related. The first one is corrective action. The second one is a preventive actions. The last one is a defect repair. Any change request, any recommendation, if you work for any project, whether you work for a groundbreaking delivery project, state-of-art kind of project, or you're going to create is the first version of Everkind. So you need to recommend either corrective, preventive, or defect repair. So scope related, only these three change requests. Either of one change request, depending upon the situation, you need to send us a recommendation. So what do you mean by corrective actions? What do you mean by corrective actions? Always corrective actions or reactive approach. A mistake has happened, you want to correct it. Right or wrong, guys? Right or wrong?
Yes.
You are a project manager, you are so sensitive, you doesn't want the data should be loose because the data are your assets. The company has collected the data for last 20 years in the market, and all the data are lucrative data. And you have only one server. It's a very old server, it's installed long back, and you have only one IT person to work. So IT person is having a lot of work, he doesn't have the backup copies. So he's giving you the advice that any time the server will go for a crash. So you are doing the discussion with your management. So once you are discussing with your management, okay, they're saying, okay, no problem. We know the seriousness. We doesn't want to lose the data. Suddenly, the IT person is running to the meeting hall and is giving the information, sir, server went for a crash. So what are you going to do? You will prevent or you will take a corrective action decisions right now. Corrective action. A mistake has happened. You want to correct it. You need a server to keep the data. You doesn't want to, right? You doesn't want to lose the data in future. All the data are lost. So you are recommending, okay, sir, the server installation and all is very costly right now in the modern technology. Everything is obsolete. Right now, they have something called cloud computing service. We pay for the use. So as we use, we will be paying for that. So there's no need for us to have a person. Everything will be done with the third party. We are going to pay only the rent. So what the people will ask, okay, ask the procurement team to collect the proposals from them, the quotation from them, and see which quotation is a very good quotation, select that particular proposal, and award the contract to them, send them a purchase order. So the corrective action will be recommended. For you to purchase the server, you need to add the money, right? Hello?
Yes.
Right? Okay, now,
Yes, yes.
now the server never went for the crash, but the management has understood the seriousness. Okay, we doesn't want the loss. So ask immediately the procurement team, just ask the quotation. You can ask the people to come with the providers who are the person is providing the cloud computing service. So what you're doing right now? The server still it is inactive. It's not went for collapse. It's never went for a crash. So what kind of recommendation is going to come from you?
Proactively, we are
Preventive actions, right? You are able to prevent the things which is going to happen in future. You will be taking a proactive approach. Corrective action is a reactive approach, and preventive action always it's a proactive approach. So being a requester, if you want to do any changes, once all the documents are integrated and hand over to the execution, if you want to do any kind of changes, major changes, minor changes, you want to add the resources, you want to remove the resources, you want to add the cost, you want to remove the cost, you want to add the duration, you want to omit the duration, you want to add the scope, you want to omit the scope, you want to do any kind of changes in the communication strategy, stakeholder engagement strategy, which is not working out well what you expected, it's not fulfilling your expectations. So once the project is executed, if you want to do any changes, you need to approach to the change committee, which is nothing but CCB. You have to send your request. All the requests should be a substantial request. You should have the supporting document. You need to recommend whether you need to go with the corrective actions or you need to go with the preventive actions. The final one, any physical area is getting defected. For example, you want to deliver 10 rooms. Inspector is going to come with various kind of inspection ITPs, like inspection and test plans. It's going to inspect all the room, and one room is able to see a tree is growing in a gap. A small tree is growing in a gap. Whether the client or the owner is going to accept that. Your own inspector is giving the inspection report. You could see the you can see the photograph of that particular room, that is the tree is growing there. So what kind of recommendation are you going to give right now? Corrective, preventive, or defect repair? Hello?
defect repair.
Defect repair. All your rework has to go there. You need to have the mason, you need to have the extra cements, you need to have the money for you to buy the epoxy, the cement, and other materials, because you never brought that one for all the rework money you never brought in your budget. So you need to do the rework. Rework is asking you to spend your extra money, spend your extra time. So the recommendation from you to send to the CCB with the photograph and all the substantial will be defect repair. I need to repair the defects. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, Bala.
Any questions on this?
No.
No, right? No. Mr. Vinod,
Yeah, one clarity. Yeah, please. go
please,
ahead,
please,
someone.
please, please, please,
Yeah, someone raised probably.
please, please, sir.
Okay. So here, how it looks corrective and defective.
Not
first
corrective
third looks
actions, preventive
similar.
action.
Similar, but slightly. Is it the third one? Defect repair is because of money and time involved to rework that. We
Yeah,
are considering this
yeah,
third one, or
see, actually, the building is a tangible one. You can touch and you can feel it, right? And you can see there is a big crack. Air crack is allowable, but there is some extent in the civil engineering, air crack will be allowed, right? But you can see the big tree is growing there. Will the customer will accept this?
No.
You are a owner. If I'm a contractor, if I'm going to give this room with the tree is growing in the gap, you will accept that? You'll do the house survey. You will ask me to do the repair, right?
yes.
So the recommendation from your side will be a defect repair type of recommendation, because you need to buy the additional cements, you need to buy the additional epoxy, and you need to call the mason for his rework, right or not? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Third one is clear. So corrective. There also we are incurred some.
No, corrective
mistake,
action
but
is corrective and preventive action is based on the performance.
Okay.
Based on the performance.
Okay.
The performance, the time performance, cost performance. So that will be making a corrective and preventive.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So you are able to see that one. We have only 5 questions. Just bear with me for 5 minutes. We have some leftover questions in the last class, right? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, but let's go.
You're able to see that's the question here?
Yeah.
And a highly critical project is in jeopardy due to missing resources. What should the newly assigned project manager do first? He has to find the available professional within the organization to fill the gaps, or he has to determine the possibility for the team to split up the required task, or he has to allocate the funding for seeking the external professional to fill the gaps, or he has to request the additional budget for the team to train for a missing expertise. Do first. Do first. If you're a project manager, what are you going to do?
Yeah, alpha.
First, find available
Okay,
professional.
who's RP? RP has brought answer A. Who's RP? Rajendra Panchbhai sir. Okay. First one. Is the correct answer? The first one?
Yeah.
So that is the correct decision for you to take, right? You need to give the priority for your own people, right?
Yes.
Right. So the correct answer is answer A. Find available professional within the organization to fill the gaps. So other seems is not good. Being a project manager, you need to just give the opportunity for your subordinates. So the first answer is so correct. So answer A. So what will be the answer for the 21st? Travel restrictions are suddenly imposed during the project execution. The team members reside in different geographic locations. So maybe the COVID-19 pandemic. What should the project manager do next to address this issue? He has to obtain and implement the sponsor recommendation for a solution, or he has to ask the team members to proceed independently while examining needs and alternatives, or he has to place on hold all the activities until the team can resume the work on site, or he has to hold all the process until the procurement and implementation of the solutions are complete.
Is it second or the first one? Second, but it looks only if client allows, we can go with second one.
Travel restrictions are suddenly imposed during the project execution. The team members reside in the different geographical locations.
B is okay. B.
C.
One.
B.
B, yeah. Can you go with B? Can you go with the B? Okay, let's see.
Yeah. So till we find the solution, they have to proceed, right?
Okay, yes. So the correct answer for you to just choose from the 4 option will be B. B is so proactive. B. B is correct. B. So 21, it will take B. 22nd. 22nd, I'll push up. Okay. A project team is performing a post-release evaluation of a product that requests detailed feedback from 7 stakeholders. 6 of the stakeholders have promptly provided feedback. 1 of them has not provided any feedback despite numerous requests for the team. What should the project manager do in these situations? Only 1 person is not giving the feedback. Remaining other person has responded.
First one, explain to sponsor why the
Explain to the sponsor why the reluctant stakeholder needs to provide a feedback. Okay. C, meet all with all the project stakeholder and request all the feedback, because all the 60 stakeholder given the promptly they provide the feedback. So there is no need for you to go with the C. C, you will be ruled out. Only 1 person is reluctant, right?
D is the person who is not giving the
Yeah,
feedback.
D.
Right? You can discuss
Oh.
with him and get the feedback.
So D will be it is a straightforward approach, right? You are able to know their concern, why it's not providing the feedback. So Mr. Rajendra Bhai or Panchbhai also is giving correct answer. So the answer is D. So 22 answer is D. D for D for delta, something you can take. So D is the correct answer for the 22nd. D. 23. To estimate the cost of a new project that is similar to the project that was implemented last year, the project manager meets with the group experts from the previous project. The group uses 3-point estimation techniques. The project manager submits the estimated budget to the project sponsor to approval. The sponsor, who was new to the company, is very much concerned about the budget exceeded their expectations. What should the PM do?
second one.
B.
Give me the
Bravo.
historical
Yeah.
information and the lessons learned from the last year project to justify the new budget estimations, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the team is repeating the same kind of project which is implemented last year. So to justify, the sponsor is having the intention that is exceeded their expectation. So you need to justify the sponsor. Okay, it's not exceeded what we have done in the last year. We're going to use that one as a reference, right?
Yes.
So review the historical information and lessons learned for the last year project to justify the new budget estimate. So B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Beta. 23, B. 24, a team is holding the first demo of the software build to date on a medium-sized project. The product owner has uncovered a number of issues they would like to be addressed before providing approval. How should the project manager approach this problem? So there is number of issues in the previous iterations. That was the issue raised by the product owner. So, being a project manager, what is the approach? How are we going to sort out this problem?
A.
So, what do you mean by backlog grooming? What do you mean by backlog grooming? We already seen this one.
Lesson learned.
The
C.
Refer the product owner to the signed business requirement document and explain the current plan can't facilitate these changes. See, you are doing the adaptive project. You need to welcome the changes. You need to roll the red carpet for you to get the changes, right? You are adapting the changes. You are able to push your project through changes. So that's the reason it is called as a change-driven methodology also. Your project is driven by the changes. So you can't just say no to the customers.
A looks
B.
Okay. Mr. Rajendra Panchpai, another one is coming with the detail. The product one, the issue will be addressed in the second version of the software. No. Second version. So you are asking the customer to wait for the version 2. When the
Next
version
is
2 will come.
right.
So the correct answer is backlog grooming. Plan to address the issue. Backlog grooming is nothing but once you are going from one iteration to other iteration, you are doing the reprioritization in the product backlog. You are able to bring the feature up, which is going to give the highest business value and highest risk. So that is called as a MVP, which is having a good MVP. You are able to do this one through the backlog grooming sessions. You are able to prioritize. So the A is very correct. 24 alpha. 24 alpha. 25, the last for the session today. A project manager has just finished initiating a project. While planning the project manager role, notes that several essential teams do not have the required skills for the key task later in the project. What you have to do as a PM? First, you need to develop the resource management plan and ensure the adequate training, or you have to replace the current project manager team. So that will be too much arrogant, right? You can't take the business. Or you can outsource a task to be completed with a specialized vendor, or update the issue log to account the lack of team qualifications.
A.
A is the correct answer. You need to make
A
sure
is
that
the-
a resource management plan where you will be getting the complete information about your human resource. So you need to know about the training information, training requirements, what kind of training we have to provide, administrative, technical, or management level. So A is very correct. So thank you guys. Good night. Any question to be asked?
Thank you.
Can you permit me to close my sessions, or you need to ask any questions?
No, Bala, we can wind up.
Okay,
Already we
fine.
are live.
So tomorrow.
We can keep the timings, Bala, is a small request from my end.
Okay.
Since tomorrow I have to go to office.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for that.
No problem,
Thank
man. No problem. Feedback or welcome.
Thank
Thank you. Good night, everyone. See you on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Bye.